Meeting is being recorded.
This is CDI's UI session. I wanted to take this opportunity to review the current design. Ahmed, I saw Sarah made some updates as well. So I'll just go over it and get the team's feedback. Brenda, Danny, Sebastian, Swapnali, Encore, you have feedback, please let us know. So this is the package. Folks have seen this. The only thing that's here that was added based on Danny, your feedback is that. Let me make sure folks go on mute. We're getting background noise. So Danny, the only thing we added was the one-line description. If you move your mouse button on that, it will go ahead and also display the entire description. Okay, Danny?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
So there's two ways to create packages, create package or import packages. If you click on import, you'll get the import screen and you can drag and drop your package or you can browse through a file. So in here we say that the valid type is zip. So that is just something that we do.
Are you sharing your screen, Yuri? Just yes. Blank right now.
Can anyone else see it?
I can see it, yeah.
Nope. Must be on
my
end.
Can you try to restart your WebEx?
Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks.
Oh, by the way, is it the enriched version or the non-enriched version, or it supports both?
It's going to support both. I'm going to show you. So we do have this thing called designer mode and scripting mode. So if you click on designer mode, it will support the designer mode that we have been working on, where you have the canvas and you do drag and drop. If you click on scripting mode, you can also support basically the current capabilities, and I'll show you that as well. Brenda, do you have any questions on this portion? So this is the difference between designer and scripting, and here
exactly. Also. And one more, Yuri, yeah, exactly. This is what I am expecting. And scripting mode, what is the difference? It's like any other constraint that we put on the scripting mode, or it's like a freestyle, any style or any blueprints that I can upload?
Well, our assumption is scripting is going to be Kotlin right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly, the Kotlin. And mostly what I'm trying to look into that, it should not have any constraint. Okay, the scripting mode.
There is no constraint. Scripting mode will give you what you currently have today. Let me just quickly show you this view. You see? Definitions, plans, scripts, templates, Tosca.
Okay, even one more option that I need that, what is the thing is even without even Tosca modeling itself, completely.
Without Tosca modeling, what do you mean by that?
Okay, that script, maybe think about like we are working on PyExecutor. For PyExecutor, it's the package. Okay, talk about even the Tosca modeling itself, just the placeholder to upload only the Python scripts. Okay, there are so many.
Can you send me the package? Do you have any package implementations? I can take a quick look. Send me that.
We have the PyExecutor microservice under the resource. We have the test package.
Okay. Can you send me the reference?
Let me show that later. Okay. So just mark it down. So I will explain that later. Okay. So what I'm trying to bring here this point, it's like even I'm not bothered about what kind of modeling. Okay. Even Tosca modeling or any other modeling. Okay. Or JSON or any other format. Okay. That I'm trying to come up with that. Okay. So it means like even it doesn't follow the standard pattern of how we use that. So it's like just a mediator where I can upload the scripts, whatever the server or runtime or any other microservices need that particular implementation. So in that case, it is going to upload that. So mostly you may have that meta file, and or sometimes what happens or just high level only the definition file. But the definition file doesn't align with even Tosca itself or even whatever the modeling that we have.
That's fine. Just send me the sample. I'll take a look at it.
Sorry,
All right,
sorry, Brenda and Yuri, I didn't get the point. Can you explain it to me?
Let Brenda send us, and then we'll take a look at it, Ahmed.
Okay, okay, sure.
I think it's like a third option, so we can look at it later. So the other thing here, we can add custom keys, not a problem. So right now, Brenda, one thing we did is the dictionary library instance we added here.
Exactly. That's what now I'm little bit okay because there are so many use cases without dictionary also. Okay. So in that case, I'm thinking whether this will give a different perspective or or is there any other best way?
Actually, there is another implementation. I'll show you that later. Give me a few minutes. I want to make sure I walk through everything and then give me your feedback, okay?
Okay. And one more thing, instead of dictionary, better we can have a resource definition, okay, or throughout the places actually, okay? So because dictionary gives like a different perspective, different meaning, okay, altogether completely, okay. Definition.
Okay, so I'll capture that and then we can discuss it. All right, so let me see, what else did I want to say here? I think that's it. So custom keys, we talked about that. So this is the metadata. So we have today metadata imports, external authentication templates, mapping scripts, and then we have our package. Okay, so this package will change based on designer mode or scripting mode. So if it's scripting mode, you can see this package here. So based on scripting mode, you will only get the scripting mechanism of managing your package. So imports, you're allowed to import files, or this is where all the data types, relationship types, you can view them as well. So this is from that section there in the definitions table. So all of that JSON files will be imports.
And one more thing, Yuri, sorry for that. Whether the file definition, like I can define any file, right? There is no constraint in that, right? So it means like that data.
Yeah, there's no constraint. The only thing, do you want, right now we said allow file types as JSON. Do you see that there will be other files than JSON?
No, that is fine. Okay, only thing is right now we have taken from the task, we have taken only data types and relationship capabilities and sometimes of some policy, okay, but policy not implemented, okay. And one more types also later point of time, okay, one more types, say for an example, if I'm trying to get a different types, okay, so it's like a, or a configuration types, if I'm trying to get a point of time.
You said configuration types? Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. You can either that fulfillment will be done as part of the enrichment process, or this will be imported here manually by import file.
Exactly. So underscore type, it should be, okay, the pattern that what I'm trying to use inside that enrichment process, it's like underscore types. We should not have any constraint on that. Okay. So if we don't have that underscore types, then definitely we need to follow a different path. Okay. So it means like that under the definition, okay, underscore type, it's automatically generated and it will be cleaned or regenerated during the enrichment process.
Right, but from our perspective, we don't care. The UI doesn't. Do you want the UI to care about that constraint or no?
No, I don't want to care that. That is the point.
Okay, all right, good. All right, so all right. Anything?
One more thing. Why I'm trying to give these many comments, because okay, we are aligned to that some future use cases also. That's the reason. Okay, think about like, suppose if we don't want enrichment process, auto enrichment process. So think about like, okay, we are coming up with our own dictionaries, okay, own dictionaries and own types, okay, and we don't want to go with that auto enrichment process. So in that case, what the thing is, it's like we are going to have some pattern, okay. So it means like DD underscore or right now I'm not decided, but the concept is like this. I'm trying to tell the concept. So it means like even though I can create a types, but okay, it won't undergo that enrichment process. It means like you can create your own definitions and even you can keep it with along with your model. okay, and it won't subject to that enrichment process. So it means like it won't regenerate from the data dictionary or resource dictionary or from our existing catalog. So it means like it's like along with the types, it will be included, okay, which is nothing but user defined.
Okay, but what you're describing would be based on probably some scripting mode. Okay, it's not going to be definable.
No. Even this mode also. Okay, if you try to look into that, we have all those definitions in that model, okay, in an import file fashion, okay, and user can also import that external definitions which provided by vendor itself. So in that case, vendor can also provide the types, okay, and I can include that types in that model which may not undergo the enrichment process. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so I want to discuss that, Brenda. Let me first, I'm going to mark this down because what we're implementing is always, assumption is that we always going to go through enrichment mode based on the drag and drop canvas actions. Okay, so if there is something that does not need it, we need to understand what that use case is because it could be another type of mode. All right. So then you can see that you can see all the definition types. So this is the DSL. So we added the type of DSL. So we have token, base, SSL, config, and I think there's like some other ones. So you drag and drop it here, and you can view the DSL. You can define the instance of the DSL as well. Brenda, the only question we had for you here, the DSLs today, they're not part of the component modeling.
Yep.
It needs to be added. So the question becomes, where do we add it? Do we want to add it as part of the like a node.dsl type?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to think about that just before I explain that, right? Better we can have one more configuration type. In that configuration type, we can put all those instead of a DSL. So if you try to implement, so it means like we can clearly separate out the configuration specific implementation and as well as the other DSL specific implementation. Right now for simplicity, we are using that DSL to retrieve that. It needs some amount of effort, but at least I think we want to sit and understand how much effort and then what time that we want to implement. Okay, but I want this configuration to be separated out from that modeling. Okay, what do you think about this?
This configuration, because right now the DSL types is a standalone, external system application properties, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is standalone. This is separate from imports.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what we wanted to do is that we allow the users to drag and drop. There's two ways, right? We'll have, if he has, let's say, he's defining the DSL, he can drop it here and define the DSL instance. Okay. Is that we can also drag existing DSLs that work in other blueprints. So we need like a library that has a list of DSLs previously defined, and then a library where we can drag the types and define the instance itself.
Exactly. Okay. Right now, go with the current plan, Yuri. Later we can migrate that. Okay. So instead of external system authentication property, you can put the configuration. Okay. Better. That's a name I prefer.
Okay. But so the question is, where do we need to add this? Because Ahmed and I were discussing it, and we thought we weren't sure if we want to add it in node types or create like a DSL type here.
Let me explain that problem. Okay, if you try to define a node type, there is a problem of handling the use cases. It's like a more we want to handle with a more precise, and then template it's keep on growing, and some dynamic properties we can't include. Okay, if you try to define as a node type, that is the issue. Okay, so if you define as a DSL, it is a free form. Okay, but we can put it at a UI level kind of restriction. Okay, what property that you can choose and what property you should not use. That is the reason we are not keeping under node types, okay, or capability perspective. Why? Because even first initially we started with the capabilities and the capability properties for net console. The problem what we got, it's like For one netconf device, we may use a one different authentication mechanism. For another netconf device, we may use a different authentication mechanism, so that the property name it's keep on changing and it should be more dynamic also. That is the reason. Okay, we don't want to define as a node type. Instead, we can define at the DSL level, and the coding will automatically validate that information. That is a concept. It's like we moved from node type. Okay, not recommending on the node type capability properties or requirement property. Instead, we can move to that.
So
reuse the DSL, it's up to us. Okay, either we can have a catalog of DSL properties for what are the properties that we have defined. So, and moreover, it should be dynamic also, because we are trying to implement the certain implementation, like a configuration property or connecting to the external system using a dynamic values or so in that case, it shouldn't be a that shouldn't be a keep it in that mind, and then we can come up with that. Right now, I see that, okay, it's fine. But one more option I want to say that it's like a free style or free format, okay, along with that type definition. If I want to define it own, okay, then one more option, it's like a default option, okay, where I can define my own properties, which does not align to that any of the definitions that we have for external system authentication.
Yes, that's also fine, because in RUI we support the source view. In this source view, you can define whatever you want, but what we want to make sure is that we get from the DSL catalog the types and instances.
No,
so what you're
what I'm trying to say that, okay, even there should be an option, okay, which I can define freely without from catalog itself.
Yes, but you can do that from source, right?
Yeah, source you can do that, but it should attach the DSL. So here it's like only it's a catalog selection on the left hand side. You are having only from the catalog selection, or if I want to add a new property, what is the way to add a new property? Okay, which is not falling under this catalog.
Right now we have it as source. This is where you can just type whatever you want. That's the way we have it right now.
Okay. Then okay, can you change it? Can you go to change the token type? It's a token type auth1. Okay. Can you go to the 365 source view?
Yeah.
And change that type, right? Line number. Okay, better you can put a line number there. Okay. Line third line. Change that token auth to token auth1.
I can change it, no problem. This is a mock-up, so it's not the actual screen. So I think your main comments add lines, right? For all JSON files, make sure it includes lines, and also you said that change token type to.
No. What I mean to say that it's like I can define any type.
Oh yeah, you can change anything you want.
Yeah.
In this mode, it's JSON, so you can type whatever you want.
Exactly.
We will validate the JSON itself.
Yeah, and what are all the URL token? Everything it's like expression, right? It's not like a property. It should be an expression. Yeah, maybe it's like you should allow that expression also.
Ahmed, do you have any thoughts on if it's expression for these properties?
Sorry, I didn't get the point. If it's an expression.
Expression would be like it could be a JSON.
Get input. That same expression that we use it inside the property.
It's like this: get input, and then you can say what input from where.
Yeah. What happens, no? The configuration property is a combination of okay, static property and as well as input property. For an example, I want to connect with netconf. The host input may come from input. Okay. It may not be a hard-coded value. Okay. So in that case, combination of name, expressions, and some static values also. Okay, so you can define as static value or you can define as an expression.
I think that will be fine. We will make sure we're planning to support expressions, so I think that'll be fine.
I think it will be predefined expressions that are allowed only.
Yes, there will be some set of expressions. I think right now we support like get input, get attribute, get properties, and I think there's one more if I'm not mistaken.
Mostly I'm looking for that get input and get attributes mostly. Okay. Most of the times it's like no expressions it comes from get input or more three, whatever you have mentioned.
Yeah.
We can have an API for the allowed expressions, so it can be configured and added from the engine.
Right. So for like some like token or URL or any other type of attribute, we can use the expression, or we can define what the instance is. So those two ways of modeling how we resolve the parameters should be supported. And I think we talked about that as well, Ahmed.
For the expression, no, I don't remember this point. But it's
No,
okay.
in general, we can
Yes, in general, yes.
revisit this portion.
I don't have a problem with the expression. I think it will give better flexibility for the package designer. But what I'm concerned about is the security-wise. So I think we can allow only predefined expressions.
Yes.
Maybe it's like a misunderstanding. We can open it model.
I
didn't get your voice is not clear, Brenda.
Let me, guys, let me finish the. Brenda, let's revisit this. I noted your concern, Ahmed.
Okay.
I'll say why it's not a problem, because everything is going to be predetermined based on the model. So we'll revisit this portion. Okay, I'll discuss it with you.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go back. So to conclude, I think what we're saying, Ahmed, is that we need to support additional DSL types, and that DSL types will support the list of DSLs that we have. And there are two types. There's the ones that we are these four types, and there's also the ones that are created as instances. So once these instances are created, I think maybe there is a way we can, later on also include them in the library so that the instances can become reusable as well. So not just the types, but the instances can become reusable.
Okay.
So let me move on to the next thing. So this is designer. So adding of actions, editing of action attributes. This component. And Ahmed, here you see we have expressions here as well. Okay, so all of that component management, component linking is here. So there's
okay.
what I've seen before. So this is the scripting view. This also we have seen. The one thing I want to review is the new. Okay, so this is our data dictionary. This is the attribute list for dictionaries. Brenda, this is, you can see that we added the AT&T OpenConfig. These are different type of libraries that we have. Okay, today we have, it's starter types. When we introduce the different types, the UI will support the library view for those different types as well. And the different types also have a different icon. So you can see the AT&T attribute resources are represented with this icon. The open configs are represented with this icon, so we can represent them in different icons as well.
Okay, one more thing. We should not tag like AT&T or OpenConfig. Instead of that, we can tag like a service specific. Okay, so it
no. These are examples. So it can be anything. Can be anything. But the one thing is that we don't have the backend implementation of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the library.
can do it. I will explain it. It's like no, we let me explain that, but later no, UI team can look for a user design perspective. Okay, what I will explain that how simple that we can implement, but UI perspective and then visualization perspective, team can later look into that. Okay, so right now, please hold on that particular tabs. Okay, kind of user experience. Okay, so let me explain how easily that we can implement. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to explain later or now?
Now itself I will explain that. Okay, so only one property that we want to add it in a resource management screen, actually resource definition screen. Only one property only that we want to define that. So based on that, we can how we want to render or how we want to look. It's like we can discuss on that. Okay, or we can jump to the particular portion so that no we can come to.
Okay, here's what we have.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So what I am trying to expect, it's like just we want to add one more property for each dictionary, the context actually. Okay. So whenever you are trying to define a dictionary, add, you have just to scroll down one more. Yeah, just I'm looking. Is there any other property already we have defined? Because first we initially define and then we remove that. Okay, let me see that property. We have string and then. Can you open completely?
Let me hold on one second. I'll open the one we have.
Okay, let's look into that, even the model also. No, that is not in one.
These are all the data dictionaries we have.
Yeah, not in 100%. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is like in a resource dictionary, so we have a resource definition section. Okay, so that represents a table structure. Okay, so we have a name, property, and we have a updated by, and then we have a tags, and then we have source. So we have source. That's where resource definition comes. And so what I'm trying to say is like one more. It's like a context or any other name for that. It's like how to group that resource dictionary. That or group names we can have that group, or we better put a group. I believe that gives a clear name for that. Okay, so it means like we are trying to group the resource dictionary because the address representation of one group may be different from address representation on the other group. So it means like I can define an address, okay, in multiple locations based on the group perspective. So in that case, enrichment also work. Okay, if you want to give a which group that enrichment to happen. Yeah, exactly. Similarly like that.
Okay, in the UI we call it library instance because let's say you have a dictionary. For that dictionary, you have a library instance, and that library is mobility or VoIP or something else.
Yeah, you can have.
Okay, so in your context, you'll add a group. So that means, Ahmed, that means that when we get the list of resources, we can look into this group itself and then separate out the dictionaries based on the group itself. Do you see any issues there from rendering the UI?
Sorry, again, please. Once we have, sorry, repeat it again, please, Yuri.
So what Brenda is saying is that within the instance itself, you'll add a group.
Okay. Yes.
That's part of the instance definition of dictionary. So each instance will have a group. That group will be specific service, right? Mobility could be VoIP. It could be, it could be OpenConfig. It could be anything. AT&T, right? It could be whatever you want to group a set of dictionaries together.
Okay.
So these tabs are going to be separated based on those groups itself.
Okay. And how this will affect the template, the mapping, or it will not affect the map? Yes, the template mapping.
Yes, it will affect it because that group is also the library instance. Okay, this is library instance basically. So,
okay, so during the creation of the package, this is the library instance that I will select from.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. That's correct. But I think Sarah came up with a different design. So first, are we good with that group concept for rendering the different tabs in the UI?
Here in this screen, it's not a problem, but I am not aware of where this will affect, yani all the places that will be affected. I'm not
I'll
sure
show you. Right now we have, hold on. There's two places. There's one place here. You see we have dictionary library instance.
Okay, yes.
Library. This is one place. Initially we added. I saw Sarah came up with a new design for the other place in scripting and mappings, and we'll go over that next, okay?
Okay, yes.
Okay, but so far, for data dictionary screen itself, there's any questions?
Just
yes.
One comment. Instead of having it tabbed out like that, could it just be a filter? You can pick whatever you want to view.
We support filter view as well. You see all dictionary tags? That's a filter mode.
Perfect.
Okay, so you can filter it. You can do it two ways. You can go to those tabs and filter within those tabs, or you filter it as part of all. These tabs is another set of filters that we're doing. They're custom filters. You can think that way.
It's good.
Sorry, in the data dictionary creation, there will be a new field for the library.
Yes. And basically that field name is going to be called group. That's what Brenda is saying.
So in the data dictionary, it will be called the group. And
yes.
In the package creation, in the designer, it will be called library instance.
Yes, in the UI, we want to call it like a library instance.
So in the UI for the data dictionary, it will be called what?
I think it's, we can call it, I would like to call it library instance itself rather than group.
Okay.
Yuri, in that model, it is attached to the metadata, right? The group will be attached to metadata, right?
Yes, yes. So all the metadata, let me just make one point. We have one place where we manage all the metadata, okay? That management is in here. You can see all the metadata is managed here. And this is from Tosca metadata, okay? My assumption is that, Brenda, whenever you do enrichment, you'll carry over the metadata we have in Tosca meta to the definitions as well.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm not gonna, in definition, I'm not managing the metadata. So any metadata I want to manage, I'm gonna manage only in one place, and that's in the Tosca.
No. We want to do that. That's what last call I explained that, right? Okay. So we carry whatever the metadata which is present in Tosca.meta, that talks about only the CBA, not more than that. Okay. So it's like what all the definitions here, what all the meta here present here. So only it talks about the CBA. But the enrichment, right? During that enrichment, I want to look for certain resource definition context or resource definition group. So in that case, that metadata will be defined inside the service template or inside the model.
Any reason why you can't carry? I can define it in one place. Why can't we carry that over to that definitions?
because that is not needed, because the runtime is different from Tasca Meta. Okay, so the accessing the file is different.
So let me.
Like the code, yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but I want to, because it makes things easier for us as well. So I just want to make sure. What we have today is two files, right? We have Tasca Meta, and we have definitions. Okay, you have metadata here, and you have Tasca Meta. Okay, if the UI, if we have the UI, right? CDS UI has only manages metadata in Tasca Meta. Okay, and it's always carried over to metadata in definitions. Do you see any problems? Like a library instance, it will basically, it's just a replica of what you have in Tasca Meta will be also in definition meta.
I understand that, but there is a programmatic wise, it's a different issues there. Okay, because the context we are loading from service template. Okay, and user may miss here, and then user may follow a different convention pattern, and then looking into the validation perspective, it's like a service instance only that we are injecting the service instance only. Okay, not in the Tasca Meta file. A Tasca Meta file.
The user has one place. He doesn't know about Tasca Meta and definitions. He has one place for metadata management.
Whether it will be populated. So in that case, what we can do, it's like whether we can have a UI automation to auto-populate in the service template. So in that case, okay, that will be always, it follows a standard. Instead of going to the server and doing the enrichment, if it wants to handle that, then it will be an issue. Okay. So in that case, what we can define that, I'm not bothered about, okay, how we are managing that. Okay. That certain metadata, it should be in a service template. That is the point. Okay. So either how we want to handle in a user experience way, that is up to you. So either during that, for me, it's like the entry point for me, it's like sometimes I may go to enrichment process, sometimes I may not go to enrichment process. Okay, that is the point I'm trying to bring. So
okay.
If I go to enrichment process, then definitely I know that, okay, I'm going to copy over that. Certain times if I'm not going through that enrichment process, then I may miss that. So that is certain DSL's kind of functionality and all, we may miss that. That is it. I'm trying to say that you can manage whatever you like, but those metadata which is relevant to that should be there.
Okay, so that problem I understand, and we can say the UI should manage that. And then the transfer of metadata, because what we want is simplicity. We don't want to create two different metadatas in the UI itself.
I understand.
Okay, we have 15 minutes, so let me move ahead.
So also it is very easy. Whatever you have mentioned, it's right? So whatever the top level, it's like a standard one. Okay, go to the metadata section. I will explain. Just have that, right? Okay, whatever is the top level, that is the only thing mandatory then. Whatever you are putting at add custom keys, that it will go to the service template. If you have an assumptions like that, then there won't be an issue.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so let me hold on one second. Okay, we talked about DSLs. Dictionary we talked about. So we said we're going to add the new group. That group will also render. So just one thing. So here you can add a list of source instances, or you can add a specific source. So you can do it two ways. And then you can also view the source view of the entire dictionary as well. This is the catalog creation. So in here you can add the catalog definition. So it's and this is config management that we talked about. You can add any service here. And right now we only have blueprint process service most likely. So this is what we want to have as the future config management screen.
Okay, and port number management. Okay, it comes along with it. Okay.
Config management is separate, so you can add any properties here. And this is what the UI will use for for the enrichment or deployment process. Okay, so then we had, okay, so now we're gonna come into the new items, which we probably haven't seen before. 1 second. Okay, so this is how we wanna support adding of scripts. So you can see it's gonna be similar to what imports are, but it's a separate section. So don't look at imports. It should be scripts. Okay, so scripts, you can add multiple script files. Those script files could be Kotlin files, Python file, or Ansible YAML files. We're not adding any restrictions. We allow you to add any file, and that's pretty much it. So it's very simple for scripts. Any questions on scripts?
Whether we are creating a package structure?
The package structure?
Yeah.
You mean this naming convention here, right?
Yeah, it's like a Kotlin /CBS/. Okay. So something like that we are going to create, or?
Well, what I understand is all the files added to in the scripting section will be added under the scripting folder, and based on their type, they will be either under Kotlin or Python.
Okay, that's fine. It's not an issue. Only we can.
And we allow the file naming as part of imports, right, Ahmed?
Exactly.
Yes, but not the bus.
Not the what?
Not the directory. It's the file name only, not the directory, I think.
Okay. Okay, so everything for Kotlin will go on the Kotlin. Anything for Python will go on the Python.
Yes, and all of this will be under scripts.
All of this will be on scripts. So there's one thing that's missing is Ansible playbooks.
Yes.
YAML files. We want to make sure we add Ansible here as well. Brenda, are there any other types that we need to account for?
Right now we don't have that. Okay, so and most okay, where we are managing the template then?
Okay, so I'll show you that next. Okay, so before we go to the screen, ignore this for now. Okay, so we talked about so scripts are not part of designers. Scripts and mappings and templates are outside of the designer mode. Okay, Danny, if you have any questions, please keep us informed as well. So we said that the users, the first thing they'll do is define metadata, then they will come and add their scripts and add their templates and mappings. So that's outside of the designer mode. In the designer mode, the only thing we're doing is binding, right? Binding the templates and scripts to the components itself. But the actual template and mapping creation is done outside of it. So you can see we have scripts. That's where we loaded all our Kotlin scripts and Ansible playbooks and Python scripts. Template and mapping section will manage template and mappings. And the way we have it right now is that we have different ways of creation of template and mappings. There's one mode where you have to add a template and mappings, one mode where only templates, and other mode is only mappings.
Yeah, this is perfect, Yuri. Yeah. And one more, so I need one more tab called deployment.
What is the, before we go to that, let me finish the template and mappings. Okay, so you can see there are different ways you can do template and mappings. What we talked about is you can upload your attributes from the VTL template itself, or you can load it from, or you can provide an import file where you can provide all the attributes. So there's two ways. You either get it from a VTL file, or all the attributes loaded from the VTL file or a Jinja file, or you can provide some sort of comma delimited file with all the attributes so that you can manage all the mapping files. So the first thing that we do is we create, I want to say, hold on 1 second, this is only management. Give me 1 second. Okay, I want to see this one. Okay, so you can see as part of create template, you can import the template in here. And then second step is to load config params, and that can happen from template instance or it can happen from upload attribute list. Okay, so there's two ways to do this. And if we do the, there's also a definition of the dictionary library instance. So this is the group itself. So Brenda, you can see that here we are using the dictionary library instance for doing the auto mapping itself.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. You can also change this most likely if you want to. So so the question is that dictionary library instance, should it be part of metadata or should it be part of something else?
No. Here it's perfect. Here it's like for AutoMap perspective that we are having that's fine. But here we are not going to persist this information anywhere, right? Okay.
So it's like a part of anywhere.
Okay. Exactly, and later I will think like how to include this instance so that now once again if you try to upload from different perspective or different context, and if you try to upload, then automatically this should be populated. So it means like we need to record somewhere. Right now I don't see that place to record anywhere because this is a enrichment property. Okay, let's see that. Okay, later point of time. But right now this is the right position to have that.
Sorry, Brenda. I think it will not be part of the package as you mentioned. Yes. But we need to keep it somewhere because so if the user want to edit this package, he will have the last dictionary library instance used for mapping.
Okay, so in that case, you can refer from that metadata directly. So in that case, you while creating a new one, user can select or user can change. But if you find that metadata, that service template level, then it should not be editable format. So that if user wants to change that, go to that metadata section and change that, then automatically it should map that. So in that case, you can just only provide that information, not a selection option or not edit option.
Okay.
Okay. So Ahmed, you will make this.
It, right? You get the point, right?
We're saying that the only time you can change the instance is going to be in the metadata section.
Exactly.
Okay, so when we auto map it, we provide this tabular form for managing the source instances. In the future, we will support graphical mode as well, but right now we are just trying to get the, this mode itself, the tabular mode.
Yuri, I want to discuss this point actually. Okay, we need some changes in this. Only the mapping section. Okay, and especially for capability perspective, okay, or we need for all mostly, and especially the capability perspective, we need that. Okay, I think we can take a separate call. I won't explain the concept of how it works. So we need a separate call.
For mapping management?
Yeah, mapping management. Yeah, mapping management, and especially for capability. Okay, and how dependencies and how to populate or how to copy the.
Okay, so. Okay, so the main concept, first of all, does anyone have problems of scripting and mappings being outside of the designer mode?
That is perfect.
Okay. So there's three options to do it. This option talks about create template and manage imports. So one thing we said also that you may come in with your mapping file and your template file. So you need to be able to support the import of those two files themselves. So we support this in this type of mockup, and we also support the creation using the UI itself. So let me see what else. So this other screen talks about template only creation without mapping. So you add the template but no mapping. And this other one talks about mapping creation.
One more thing. Okay, do we have a mapping type actually? So can you go to the mapping section? Can I see that what type that template or no template? Okay, yeah. So what is the type of the template that I'm trying to use? Like
no, this part we didn't add yet. We need to add Ginger velocity, right? That's your feedback?
Exactly. It should be velocity or It should be Jinja or it should be even Kotlin template.
Okay, so needs to be added. So so this part we haven't. You can see that we have the file types, but I think we need to make sure that we need that as a selectable, what type of template it is. So Ahmed, maybe we can discuss that at some later point tomorrow.
Yes, sure.
Overall, it's very good actually. Coming up with.
And gratefully, we had Sarah and Ahmed and and the team doing very good job on the designer packaging. So now we need to implement. So that's the next step. So okay, so let me see. Anything else? I think that was the main thing that we wanted to kind of discuss. There's one more mode I skipped. I'll just quickly hover it again. Is that once you create the template and mappings are shown separately here, and then you can click on those files and view those files. And this is the mapping view. The mapping view is this, okay? And you can view the mapping using this tabular form, or you can view it using the source mode. Any questions, team? So if I go back to, okay, so there was to the meeting minutes. So Brenda, we need this discussion on the first item.
For which one?
This is without Tosca modeling. PyExecutor, Brenda, reference.
Exactly. Can we have sometime later or tomorrow, because
I have a 10 o'clock call. So
yeah.
So data dictionary, you're saying that you want resource definition. We'll discuss that. Import types, something about supporting configuration types, and the UI is not supporting any patterns. So anything you want to add for? I think you're saying that we should support something called configuration types. Maybe we can cover
exactly. That. What I'm trying to into the DSL configuration, right? Whatever we have in the DSL configuration as a separate file, and then we can whether we could manage with the types. That's what I'm trying to look into that, so that we can have a clear separation of the properties, and then we can manage with respect to environments itself. So we can have one environment with the different properties and another environment with the different properties. That's the point I'm trying to. Okay, let's see. Yeah.
So provide import types that don't go through enrichment process. That's fine. Configuration versus external system properties. The name, this is name difference. Name difference. DSL types, we want to support catalog of DSL types. Brenda, the DSL types, is that a lot of work to do to add that as just the catalog? I think we have to add that. We have to add it as a catalog and then expose APIs to extract that information, right?
No, because right now we are using a generic property resolution, okay, throughout the places. That's the reason, like now DSL is working fine. So if we try to move into that, we need to find, I think a lot of logic that we need to change, okay, because we have a generic pattern. Sometimes we know application also. To put outside. Either it should be enrichment process, it should auto-populate the DSL, or some way to hook that or some way to link that, okay, or loading the context. So it's like little work is there. Right now we can go with the DSL. Maybe I'm confusing you guys. Okay, leave about that.
Okay. Allow expression for all the text boxes that we talked about. Define expressions. So I'll talk to Ahmed about this. Library backend implementation requires, so this is data dictionary at a context of groups, carry over metadata for non-enriched purposes. That's fine. Ahmed, I'll talk to you about this one. Deployment needs discussion. Separate management, okay, and velocity, okay. I think we have the captured all the items. Anything I missed? Okay, if not, thank you very much, team. Ahmed, I'll sync up with you tomorrow.
Okay, sure.
And go over this. Thank you very much, everybody, for your feedback.
Thanks, Sid.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Let me stop this recording.